welcome to Mindshift, a PLCS Empowerment Collective podcast. My name is Christopher, and I'm happy to be one of your hosts today.
And I'm your other host. I'm Deb. Good to be here today.
And this topic cracks me up because, you know, Deb, my son is 4.5. He's in a daycare center where they have preschool programming, but he's an August birthday, so he's still got a whole other year until he even starts kindergarten. And no joke, I get asked probably, if I'm being realistic, probably at least once a month about where he's going to high school and what he's going to do in high school. And I'm like, I got to teach him to wipe his own butt first. So
I saw your notes because we take a little notes, but as we're getting ready for this, and I saw your notes about college prep starts in preschool now. And I thought, what the heck? I have a freshman in high school grandson and a senior in high school, also grandson. And what I notice is by the time they're a junior in high school, for sure, they get asked, what are you going to do when you're done with high school? And my grandson lies because he doesn't know.
Yeah.
So I can see that at high school, but really at preschool, wow.
What I want us to focus on today is moving beyond assumptions about what high school is and more into some of the current trends happening in high school. What does that look like? And busting some of those myths. And so I'm really excited. We have an expert on high school here with us today. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, well, thank you both for having me here today. My name is Julee Sauer, and my current position with the district is Director of Curriculum and Secondary Education. I'm finishing my 34th year in education, and so I've seen a lot over the last 3 decades in terms of education and especially secondary education. I started as a high school English teacher. I did that for 15 years. And then I left the classroom. And since then, I've been in different administrative positions. So yeah, it's great to be here today with the two of you.
Julie, you're like my people because I also was a high school ELA teacher. And I loved doing that. I did that for about 10 years before I started moving into different roles. So, you know, it's been... Gosh, I left the classroom in 2016, so it's been 2017, 16-17 school year. So it's been almost 10 years since I left the classroom. So I have that frame of reference from when I went to high school and what that experience was like. Then I have that decade when I was teaching in a high school and what that experience was like. But almost 10 years has passed since then. So how has high school education evolved? In the 3 decades of your career, in the time that you've seen, what has that looked like?
Sure. Well, first I smile because 34 years has gone in the blink of an eye. So first is that proliferation of technology in our students' lives, especially in the form of their own personal devices. The big myth, though, to bust there with that is that they're all tech savvy with everything. They are tech savvy at consuming technology. They're not necessarily tech savvy at being academic producers with it. So those skills have to be explicitly taught and then practiced. Second biggest change that I've seen is this, by golly, you're going to a 4-year college or university if you want to be successful. That has shifted into, I think, a much better place. There's so much more out there that enables kids to really dive into what they're interested in, what matches with their aptitudes. There are so many 2-year programs or even shorter programs that are affordable and lead to high demand, high paying jobs for kids, so much more than what were available even a decade ago and certainly 3 decades ago.
So Julie, as you're talking about this and you talk about the 2-year versus 4-year and students trying to figure all that out, whether they're going in one direction or the other, what are they doing that will make them successful?
I've noticed recently that the whole soft skills term has shifted into durable skills. And I really, really like that. I just read a study from Harvard University that sought to elucidate what makes teenage students successful. First is they're able to moderate their own use of technology for socialization. They also, this is all going to sound simple, but it's harder to do. They also exercise regularly. They get 7 or more hours of sleep per night. Yes. They interact with their friends face to face rather than on their devices. They also read for pleasure and they get outside more. So there's that.
I feel like you just read off my New Year's resolutions list, like exercise every day, get 7 or more hours of sleep a night,
Right?
moderate technology use. I'm like, gosh, wow, if only I did those things, I think I would be successful too.
And then diving further into that, it's really skills for all of us. They are able to be present and engage fully. They're able to work hard and they know when to ask for help. And then they also try to take on challenges with a sense of wonder rather than a sense of dread.
I love that you say that, Julie, because one thing that we've talked about that has affected kids of all ages is what is called in an article modern parenting strategies, where our parents are not wanting their kids to have to do hard things. And so as a result of that, they don't persevere. And so when you talk about them taking on challenges and doing it with a sense of wonder, I love that.
And durable skills, which, by the way, I have never heard that term before. So I'm still used to hearing them as soft skills. So durable skills, I'm going to start using it so I don't sound antiquated. Durable skills is one part, right? But there are the academics still.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Deb and I had a conversation on another episode about academic support. And I shared that I think grades are a joke and I think school is a performance. Okay. And there's a lot more to it. And so if you need to hear more, you can go back and listen to that episode on academic supports at home. But I have a lot of feelings about grades. And in high school, I think that gets even more intensified when you start adding in honors classes, weighted GPA, ACT score, AP classes, AP scores, all of that stuff. And I know there are some myths to bust around some of those things in the high schools. So what are some hot takes from Julee Sauer?
Okay, first of all, only grades and class rank matter. That is false. So I'll go ahead and bust that open for you, Dr. V. The complete transcript does matter. And that starts with a full schedule of courses each year of high school. And by that, I mean a full schedule of courses appropriately challenging for each student. Colleges and 2-year programs also look for well-rounded students. Co-curricular course participation matters. Work experiences matter. Athletic, activity participation, club participation, service participation, all of those pieces matter as well as those grades. Another myth to bust is only the AP exam score matters. That is false. AP courses are for any student with college aspirations and willing to work through the productive struggle. College admissions look favorably on the experience itself, not because they've earned a certain grade, if you will, or score on that exam, but because they've had to productively struggle with that college level content. They've had to develop better review, processing, and study habits. So the experience itself, if they stay in and struggle through, but Deb, to your point, we have a lot of kids who want to just get out of those classes early when they're not earning that easy A. And so it takes all of us adults to keep them in there and knowing that even just struggling through productively, earning a C, a B, and staying in is better for them than going an easier route to earn an A. Then the other side of that is, the ACT score, AP exam score, SAT scores don't really matter that much. False. They really do matter, whether we like it or not. And they matter in terms of opening doors for kids that they might not have known existed, access to different programs in colleges, testing out of prerequisites, and scholarship money. There's big scholarship money attached to some of those scores.
Just to follow up on that, I went to a college orientation with my high school senior grandson, and they said you no longer need an ACT score in order to be admitted. However, if you want to be eligible for scholarship money, you had to have that ACT score.
Yes.
So it's sort of both at the same time.
So we've talked about durable skills. I just have to keep saying durable skills until I get it in my brain. Durable
Love
skills.
that.
We talked a little bit about academics, some of those test scores, things like that. At the beginning of the episode, I talked about the pressure that I feel as a parent of a not even school age child yet to be prepared for the future. What do you think parents are potentially overemphasizing right now? The things that maybe we prioritize that don't need to be prioritized?
So that is such a great question. And I want to start with this. I mean, I love our millennial parents. They are so much more engaged and involved than I would say, Deb, your my parents were, Christopher, perhaps even yours too. I mean, I'm a quintessential Gen Xer. So, I was told to just go rub dirt on my wounds and don't come home until dark. Millennial parents are different, right? I mean, they are really, really involved and interested and engaged in all the things. I think sometimes that can become a detriment to kids being able to develop those durable skills in this context. I feel like that heavy involvement really morphs into trying to solve kids' problems, small problems, or trying to mow down obstacles in kids' way. We used to have helicopter parents. Now the term is lawnmower parents, mowing those obstacles down. And do some obstacles need mowed down? Yes. I mean, as a Gen Xer, there are some times that I wish that my parents would have interceded. However, for the most part, I just want to encourage our millennial parents, please trust us. Verify, yes, but trust us at school. We have your kids' best interest at heart. We are trying to teach them and model to them what being a good person is. We want them to be independent problem solvers.
And I think one of the things that you said that stood out to me in listening to that was essentially trust the school system. And I know that's hard to do sometimes. I don't need to necessarily be fighting to prepare Leo for post-graduation right now when he's 4 years old. I think I can let go of that a little bit and trust the school system. And so I just need to be there and ready to support when he needs it.
It makes me think that there really does need to be a partnership, or at least an understanding that you're on the same page with with the student and the parent and the school.
Yes, when I work with teachers and principals in different situations, and then with parents and students, I always say that we are on one team here. We all want what's best for this student. So let's all work together and come at it from our different perspectives, including the students.
So speaking of students and their voice, are there some gaps between what high schools are teaching and what students are saying they need to know?
Our returning graduates have been really clear about this, and consistently over the past few years, or at least the years I've been here, they have said, yeah, if I had a redo, I'd take a full schedule of classes. We have this thing in Papillion La Vista where kids can have an early release or a double early release. And what kids are doing there is not taking full advantage of the courses, the programs, and the phenomenal teachers that we have. And so when they come back, they'll say that. They will also say, listen to your teachers. What our teachers are telling you is spot on. And this is across the spectrum in terms of kids from college, 2-year programs, or kids who are starting right out in the workforce. And then they kind of speak to teachers and they say, we know you love us, we know you care for us, but don't let us off the hook so easily. So when they come back, kids are saying this. And so then bigger picture, I think we all need to work together on rigor in the system, right? Keeping kids in classes that are appropriately challenging for them and helping them, supporting them in that productive struggle.
That's great, Julie. I feel like this episode with Julie has been a note-taking episode. That the families that listen to this, the parents that listen to this, the high school students that listen to it, should be prepared to take some notes on what you said, because it is so much good information.
Well, I appreciate that. But more than anything, I hope that parents feel affirmed if they're already leaning in these types of directions, and that students who are working hard and taking all the classes and struggling through know that it's going to pay off, if you will, whether it's a year down the road, several years, or 34 years down the road.
And as we are coming up to the end of our time We've busted myths left and right. Your passion really comes through in the way that you speak. So thank you so much for being with us today. And thank you to our listeners for listening to Mindshift. And if you enjoyed today's episode, or if you want to check out some of the resources that were mentioned during today's episode, you can visit us at plcschools.org/Mindshift. And be sure to join us next week for another fun conversation. This time we'll be talking about money.